A story and a beautiful and wonderful lesson of bragging and bragging. One of the rich people in his city was famous for generosity and extreme generosity. So he used to help all the poor, needy and the poor, and he had a lot of good money and obedient wealth. But he had two Satan customs. He bragging about the poor and needy people, and they gave them alms. If one of the poor came to him and asked him a dirham, he would say loudly in front of people, "Do you want 1 dirham? I don't just give a dirham. Take these 10 dirhams." And this rich man, if he passed by a needy camel, he had given him charity before, telling him in front of people aloud, "What did you do, man, with the money I gave you before? Have you solved your problems with him?" Therefore the poor were fleeing him, and they did not love him, although he believed them generously all the time, until they even prayed that they wished he would stop helping them so as not to bragging about them among people in such a humiliating way. But the rich did not change these bad habits, but continued to adopt them and boast in front of people for what he owned and what the money and goods that helped the poor. One day, one of the people decided to teach this proud rich man a lesson he never forgets, and teach him that what he is doing is very bad and is a big mistake that wastes his reward from God Almighty. This person sat one day on the road that the rich man passes by as usual, wore old worn clothes, torn clothes, and put in front of him a small empty cup and hide part of it in the dust. Then waited until he passed in front of the rich man and said to him, "My brother of the Arabs, can you put me a drum in this cup?" The rich man did as he did every time and laughed loudly, saying and boasting, "I will fill this cup completely with their descendants and many dinars." And he called on one of his followers and ordered him to fill this cup with their dirhams. Indeed, the man began to put 1 dirham after another until he put 100 dirhams, but the cup was not filled. The man grabbed the dirham bag and emptied it all in the cup, but also without benefit, the cup was not filled. And the poor man said to him, "The cup was not filled, sir." The rich man looked at him saying, "But my money completely out and became a heavy burden." And the man replied, "Do you know why?" Then he lifted the cup and found it pierced from the bottom and had dug a deep hole under it. Then the man said to him, "This hole swallowed all your money, and so is he boasting of your generosity, and giving to the poor and needy, for he swallows your reward. Then the man returned his money to him, and so the rich understood the lesson from the story. Unfortunately, many people in these days have become proud of good deeds such as Hajj and helping the poor, generosity, and other good deeds in front of people. And they depict these things through social networking sites, and they do not know that this is pride and boast of these works, as it is a hole in which reward are lost.